Hey there, commercial cleaning owner. If you struggle to sleep at night while your staff does the cleaning, or if you choose to just stay out there cleaning at night after working all day on your business just because you can't trust that they're really gonna get the work done the way it needs to get done, then this video is for you. What I'm gonna give you in this video are the core elements of a sustainable quality control procedure that you can put in place into your business right now so that you can finally step back and rest from all the cleaning that's happening inside of your commercial cleaning company. Hey, I'm Matt, your commercial cleaning CEO, and I built a 7-figure commercial cleaning company. I haven't had to clean hardly at all, and it's been a very long time since I have, because we have quality control procedures that are in place that I'm going to share with you today. And I don't have to pay somebody or a lot of people a lot of money to run my business. Therefore, it's quite profitable. And I want the same for you so that you can get out of the cleaning, focus on building your business, your clients stay with you whenever you sell them and bring them in, and you can build a company that produces a cash flow that can change your life. So what you're gonna learn here in the next few moments is what I like to call the quality stool. We all know what a stool is. It's a very lightweight piece of furniture that can hold up an enormous amount of weight. So what you're about to get are the elements of a strong, lightweight quality control procedure that can support the weight of a very large business. And what you're gonna find is that this stool has 3 legs. If one of these legs is missing, that's when your business struggles and it can ultimately fall apart. So let's dive in. The first leg of the quality stool is, how do we go about setting up clear expectations? Well, I like to follow the rule of 3 R's for this, because it takes more than just telling someone one time or telling someone, just go make that space look better. And if you have any experience in the janitorial industry, you know that you can't just tell someone, go clean that space, because clean can mean something totally different to them than it does to you, than it also can mean from their client. So we need a method for setting very clear expectations. Here's how we go about it. The first R is what I call repetition. Within your training program, the goal of cleaning, the outcomes expected, the procedures to get there need to be repeated. For the strongest repetition pattern, what you want to do is have it repeated in 3 different mediums. And here's the 3 mediums. You want video, so they watch a video seeing how a room is supposed to be cleaned or how a procedure is being done. Then you need it written. They're able to then read through that exact same procedure that they just watched in a video. It's further repeated to them and reinforced. Then, whenever they train with you or your staff, or they go out into the field, it is then repeated verbally. So in your staff training process, when you combine video, written, and verbal repetition, they all reinforce on each other. And what it does is it sets a very clear standard for your staff. If they only hear something one time in one place, then it's very easy for them to first forget, but also to think it's not that important. But what happens if you see something repeated in a video, then also written down in a manual or on a script, and then again someone's telling you about it, and it's done exactly the same in an exact same order with the exact same tools in each of those mediums? That tells you that this is exactly how to go about doing this and the exact results that the company expects. So apply this reinforced repetition and the expectations are going to be clear. Now, there's still 2 more R's here. The next R for setting clear expectations that are going to be adhered to is called roles. I also like to call it realms of responsibility. This is especially applicable when you have a team cleaning scenario, when you have 2 or more cleaners inside of a building. Not only do they need to be clear on the way to clean the building and what it needs to look like at the end, but they need to know their divisions of responsibility so that they don't cross paths. If they end up doing the same cleaning twice, so if one person mops the floor, the other person doesn't know if the other person mopped it yet or not, and they go in and mop the floor, that creates quite an inefficiency in your business. But the opposite also can happen, where they think that that person who's usually in that area has already taken care of that area, and then I don't bother to go check on it. What you or your management needs to do for each building, wherever there's a team cleaning scenario, is to create that task division. You can set it up geographically, where someone's assigned a certain area and to do all the tasks in those areas. Or maybe they all split the tasks across the entire building. Maybe one person just does the mopping, one person takes out the trash, and then they rotate through all the tasks until the building is completed. Or maybe you batch tasks and actually give certain roles a title, like the floor master. It makes sense, right? That person's responsibility is completely for floors. and you break out the other responsibilities for the remainder of the team. And then you have other titled roles that take care of the rest of the tasks in that facility. Either way, there needs to be a clear plan with clear roles so that nobody doubles over anyone, but also nothing gets missed. Now, many diligent cleaning business owners choose to stop here because they're not aware of continuing on to this third R. Yes, they have some sort of repetition process in place during training. Yes, they do a good job at dividing up the roles and making sure no one's crossing over or missing anything. But this third R is very important to setting these clear expectations and making sure that it stays in your company. And that is reinforcement. Now, this is different than repetition in this way. With reinforcement, this is after the training process. This is after they've been employed with us for a while. What we need to have in place is some sort of continuing education process. And the real way to use continuing education isn't so much to teach cleaners and our staff how to do new things. We can do that with continuing education, but really what it is think of it like keeping them certified in your procedures. Every month or every quarter, however often you decide to set this in place, they need to be cycling back through at least some of the written and the video training material and reinforcing what they should know, because what happens over time, as much as you can set expectations clearly at the beginning and very accurately at the beginning, sometimes people still deviate. So if you require your staff to come into your office or to pull up a part of your website that has training videos in it, whatever you need to do, you need to have them going back through the training material periodically. And when you combine all three of these R's, you're going to have such clear expectations. There's going to be no mistake what your company wants, what your client wants, and everyone is going to know exactly how to adhere to what you need done in your company. Now, we can't just work with a one-legged stool. This is one leg to our quality control procedure that we need to have in place. So here's our next leg. It is called convicting accountability. Now, there's simple forms of this, and there's also ways to level this up in how effective it is. At the most basic level, this will be a checklist where they just check off that certain tasks were done. Now, if your team is just checking off boxes on a checklist, that can be helpful for them, but it really doesn't hold them accountable. If you're doing some form of checklist, there has to be a way to have their name assigned to it. At the minimum, we want to have some sort of initial or signature being put on the checklist instead of a check box. And then if we can also add a date to it, this is especially effective for weekly tasks and monthly tasks where you can be able to see who did what task on what day, as if it's a weekly or a monthly. Now, something that can make this easier to do, especially when it comes to adding in the daily accountability, is to have the checklist be digital. Now, the way to step this up even more is to add in a media element. And we do this in our company for things that we call hot points or any sort of complaint feedback. A hot point would be something that's very sensitive in the facility. Maybe it's a unique aspect of that facility. We know that this one door just sticks and it does not close unless we do something special to it. Or there's a certain area that's always got something really messy in it and we make sure we don't want to miss it. What media does for these is we want to add in photo confirmation, and ideally before and afters at every single cleaning or at every single incident that we want to record. So for us, we require photos of every single restroom that has been cleaned. We want to see how dirty the mop bucket water is after the floors have been mopped. We want photos showing that the dumpster has been filled and closed properly. And not only does this hold staff accountable, because they have to turn that in or else the questions are coming, but also it helps on the client side. If you have an issue with a client and you know that your team cleaned that area, well, you have photo proof. That's actually saved us a few times with a few different scenarios. It's something worth considering if having some sort of media verification along with your checklist has not been implemented in your company yet. Now, there's actually a way to even take this up to another level of accountability, and this is especially popular in manufacturing facilities or in very large-scale 24/7 facilities. And it is adding in the client visibility element. That just simply means that your client is able to see the checklist and is able to see the signatures and the dates and the sign-offs. A very efficient client visibility version of this is having a checklist on the door of a bathroom, and then after your staff cleans that bathroom, they sign their name and they sign the date. And whenever your client goes by, whenever they're in the facility or anyone else is in the facility, they can see when it was cleaned last and by who. When you have this level of convicting accountability in your facilities, your staff are going to feel that much more accountable to getting the job done according to the clear expectations that we've already talked about. You see, clear expectations are great, but it's not going to just motivate somebody to do their job. That's where the convicting accountability comes in, but also there's one more leg to the stool that if we don't have it in place, this stool still cannot hold a lot of weight and it can still fall apart. So here's the last leg that you need to have in place so that your company can stand on its feet on its own without you having to prop it up. And this last leg is constant verification. Here's what happens if you don't apply constant verification to your quality stool. And I'll show you 3 main pieces to it here in just a moment. But if you have the clear expectations and you have the accountability in place, but they don't ever get caught on it. They don't ever get praised on it. They don't ever know that it's actually being checked. Then they're going to find out and they're going to push the boundaries and push them further. Someone will within your company, and that's going to affect how others do their work, and eventually no one's going to take you seriously. And when they don't take you seriously, they're not going to perform to the expectations that you were trying to set. So here's a way to apply constant verification to your company that's not going to overwhelm you. There's 3 different inspection levels that we have in our company, and I'm going to share them with you right now. The first one is what we call our weekly highlight inspection. With this weekly highlight inspection for an account, what we do is check all the accountability sign-offs, all of the checklists, any photos submitted, making sure that they're submitting things on the days they need to be submitting them. And then we're also going to check any hot points, feedback areas, complaint areas, and do a quick spot walkthrough of a facility. We're looking for anything that catches our eye, anything that just doesn't seem right, but we're not there crawling around with a flashlight in the dark. We're not there doing anything extremely detailed at this time. This is just monitoring and making sure things are going well. That is the weekly highlight inspection. And here's why the highlight inspection is weekly. It's because if there is anything the staff is supposed to be doing that your cleaning team has not submitted photos for, and they should have, or any signed off on any sheets, it can be caught relatively quickly. And then there can be a discussion that's had. And then they take you seriously. They know that they are being monitored. And the same applies to making sure that the account in general is looking okay, that nothing major is being missed with that brief visit. The next inspection is a monthly detail inspection. This is where we do take the time to go through the facility. Sometimes we keep all the lights off and use a flashlight. It just depends on the scenario. But we're looking for detail in the facilities and actually checking on cleaning quality because we're already doing the weekly highlight inspections. We don't need to check all those other things. Now we can while we're there for the monthly inspection and knock out a weekly and a monthly at the same time. That's up to you and your process. But this monthly inspection is primarily centered around making sure there's no buildup happening in the facility. Is behind doors looking okay? Is there dust building up on the top of picture frames? All the things that might get missed on a weekly or monthly basis, are they really being handled or are they being missed? And of course, we're checking the daily things while we're there as well. The third inspection is what we call a quarterly systems inspection. This inspection is centered around the software, the support systems, the supply ordering procedures, the equipment on site, and of course the verification methods. Are they functional? Are they actually doing the purpose and accomplishing the things that we want them to in that specific facility? We're going to comb through the training procedure for that facility. We're going to seek out anything that's causing issues at that facility. Now, with the 3 legs to the quality stool, you're going to be able to build a commercial cleaning company that can stand on its own without you having to be worried about it all the time. Now, if you want a big company to set on top of that stool, then go to the links below and let's talk. I built a multi-7-figure commercial cleaning company, and I show you how that's a place where we can get working on your business together with my help. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you there. My name's Matt, your commercial cleaning CEO, and in the meantime, keep building.